I never meant to come home early. My flight was cancelled, and I thought surprising Isabella would make her smile. I carried flowers in one hand, suitcase in the other, humming as I unlocked the door. Isabella? I called out softly. No answer. The sound reached me before the sight, low laughter, a moan muffled against lips. My stomach turned. I pushed open the bedroom door, and the world I knew ended. Isabella, tangled in sheets. Marcus, my own brother, his arm draped across her waist like he owned her. The flowers slipped from my hand. What the hell is this? Isabella gasped, yanking the blanket up. Marcus only leaned back against the headboard, smirking like he'd been waiting for me. Don't twist this, Isabella said, her voice sharp, not guilty. You weren't supposed to be here. My knees shook, rage and disbelief burning through me. Not supposed to be here. This is my home. That's my wife. And you, Marcus, my brother? How could you? Marcus chuckled, completely unbothered. Calm down, brother. Maybe if you'd been man enough, she wouldn't have come running to me. The words hit like knives. I turned to Isabella, desperate for denial, for anything. Is this real? Tell me he's lying. Tell me this isn't what it looks like. She didn't look away. Her eyes were cold, her lips trembling but firm. You were never enough for me. Not as a husband, not as a man. I was tired of waiting for you to become someone you'll never be. The air left my lungs. My chest ached like she'd carved it open. Never enough. After everything I gave you. After every night I stayed awake, building us a future. Marcus slid his arm tighter around her. That future was too small, brother. She deserves more. And I can give it to her. More. I laughed bitterly, though my throat burned. What more could you give her except betrayal? You're nothing but a parasite, Marcus. You always were. His smirk widened. Funny, you defended me every time someone called me that. Guess you finally see it now. I stepped forward, fists clenched. I trusted you. I fought for you when no one else would. And this is how you repay me. Isabella's voice cracked, but her words cut deeper than any blade. I wanted love, passion, a man who makes me feel alive. You gave me duty. Security. But never fire. Marcus gave me what you couldn't. Her words echoed in my skull. I staggered back, gripping the doorway for balance. So all those nights you told me you loved me, they were lies. She swallowed hard, looking away. I thought I did. Until I realized I was suffocating. Marcus's laugh was low and cruel. Don't look so surprised. You were blind. You thought loyalty was enough, but women don't live on loyalty alone. I wanted to scream, to tear the room apart, but all I could manage was a whisper. You were my brother. Brothers compete, Marcus said smoothly. And I won. The finality in his tone broke something inside me. My vision blurred, though I refused to let them see my tears. I dropped my suitcase to the floor. You can keep the bed, Marcus. You can keep her lies. But don't ever think I'll forget this. Isabella's lip trembled. For the first time, regret flickered across her face, but she stayed silent, clutching the sheets like armor. I turned, every step heavier than the last. The house that once held laughter now suffocated me with silence. Where are you going? Marcus called after me, mocking. Running away again? That's what you do best. I didn't answer. The night air struck me cold as I pushed out the door. My chest heaved, my hands shook, but I kept walking. The flowers lay abandoned on the floor behind me. Their petals crushed, just like the life I thought I had. I whispered to myself, voice hoarse and broken, I'll never forget this moment. And one day, neither will you. The days blurred together. Empty bottles lined the floor like trophies of failure, each one whispering the same thing: you weren't enough. I barely slept. When I closed my eyes, I saw them, her skin against his smirk tearing into me. A knock rattled the door one afternoon. I ignored it, sinking deeper into the couch. But the knocking didn't stop. "Open up, man. It's me." David's voice. I dragged myself to the door and swung it open. He looked me up and down, disgust flashing across his face. "Jesus, you look like hell," he said, stepping inside without waiting. "And it smells like it too." "Go away, David." My voice cracked, weak even to my own ears. He stared at the bottles scattered across the table. "So this is your plan? Drown yourself while they're out there living it up?" I sank back onto the couch, grabbing another half-empty bottle. "You don't understand. You didn't see her eyes when she said I wasn't enough. You didn't hear Marcus laugh at me." David snatched the bottle from my hand and slammed it down. "I don't need to see it to know they're trash. You're worth more than both of them combined. And here you are proving them right." I shot him a glare. "Don't give me that. You weren't the one stabbed in the back." His tone softened. "No. But I've watched you fight for everything your whole life. And now you're throwing it all away because of them. That's not you." I buried my face in my hands. "I don't even know who I am anymore." "You're my friend," he said firmly. "The guy who never gave up, no matter how hard things got. The guy who built himself from nothing. That's who you are." I wanted to believe him, but the weight in my chest dragged me down. She was my everything, David. And he was my brother. David sat beside me, his voice steady. "Then let them destroy each other. Don't let them destroy you too." I stayed silent, my throat tight. He sighed and leaned forward. "Listen. If you want to drink yourself to death, I can't stop you. But if you want to prove them wrong, if you want to show them you were always more than enough, then stand up. Start now." His words lodged deep, but I couldn't respond. I just stared at the floor, trembling. "Fine," he muttered, standing. "I'll check on you again. But remember this, Marcus took your wife, not your worth. Don't give him both." The door closed behind him, and silence returned. I thought I'd collapse again, but his words clung to me like thorns. That night, unable to sleep, I scrolled mindlessly on my phone. Then I saw it. A photo of Isabella and Marcus, plastered across social media. Her smile was dazzling, his hand possessive on her waist. The caption read, "Finally found true love." My blood boiled. I threw the phone across the room, but the image burned in my mind. "True love?" I whispered bitterly. "No. That's theft dressed as love." Something shifted inside me. The grief that had smothered me for days cracked, replaced by fire. My hands shook, not from alcohol but from rage. I stood, pacing the room. "You think you won, Marcus. You think you broke me, Isabella. But you only woke me up." The mirror caught my reflection, hollow eyes, unshaven face, a ghost of a man. I stared at him and clenched my fists. "I won't stay like this," I told myself. "I won't give you the satisfaction." For the first time since that night, my chest felt lighter. Not healed, not whole, but burning with a purpose. I whispered into the empty room, a vow sharper than any knife: "I'll rise higher than either of you could ever dream. And when you fall, I'll be there to watch." The airport lights were harsh, almost mocking, as I stood at the gate with nothing but a suitcase. Behind me, my city, the streets where I had loved, trusted, and been destroyed. Ahead, exile. I didn't look back. When I landed abroad, the air felt heavier, sharper. I rented the smallest apartment I could find and buried myself in work, refusing to give my mind a second to wander. Again, my mentor barked one afternoon, slamming the ledger onto the desk. "You missed the margin." I rubbed my tired eyes. "It's 2 in the morning." He sneered. "Then you should have caught it twice. Business doesn't forgive mistakes." Every insult cut, but instead of breaking me, it fed me. I whispered under my breath, "Isabella said I wasn't enough." Marcus laughed in my face. "I'll prove them wrong." Another mentor, a sharp-tongued strategist, leaned over my desk a week later. "You want to make it big? Then stop acting like a worker. Start thinking like an owner." Her words echoed in my skull for days. I stopped sleeping, studying markets, strategies, failures, and empires until I felt my mind tearing apart. At night, when exhaustion dragged me to the mirror, I saw the transformation. The hollow man who once begged for love was gone. My eyes burned now, fire replacing grief. One evening, during a crowded networking event, I stood by the wall, clutching a cheap drink, wondering why I even came. Then I heard her voice. "You look like you hate being here." I turned. A woman in a sleek black dress studied me, her eyes sharp, calculating. "Maybe I do," I admitted. "Then why show up?" she asked, swirling her glass. "Because every connection matters. Even the ones I don't want." She smiled faintly. "That's the right answer. Most people waste time pretending they belong. You don't." "Who are you?" I asked cautiously. "Lena," she said, offering her hand. "Investor." "And you are?" I shook it firmly. "A man rebuilding himself from ashes." Her brow arched. "That's dramatic." "It's the truth." She studied me for a long moment. "What fuels you?" "Betrayal," I said without hesitation. Her lips curved, not with sympathy, but recognition. "Good. Anger builds faster than hope." I frowned. "And why do you care?" "Because I invest in people," she replied. "Not just businesses. People with fire. People who'd rather die working than live forgotten." I stared at her. "And you think that's me?" She leaned closer. "I don't think. I know. The way you talk, the way you stand, like someone sharpening himself into a weapon." Her words cut deep. For the first time in months, someone saw me, not the broken man, but the one rising from the wreckage. Over the following weeks, she tested me. Endless questions, brutal critiques, throwing me into negotiations far above my level. "Why did you fold?" she demanded after one disastrous meeting. "They had leverage I couldn't match," I muttered. She slammed the table. "No. You let them have leverage. You don't bow, you redirect. You walk in with nothing and leave with something. That's power." I clenched my fists. "Then teach me." She smirked. "I already am." We argued constantly, but every clash left me sharper. She didn't coddle, she forged. And I let myself be forged, because the old me was already dead. One night, as we reviewed numbers, she glanced up suddenly. "Why do you push this hard?" I hesitated. The truth clawed at me. Because I was told I wasn't enough. Because someone I loved spat in my face and chose someone else. Lena leaned back. "So this is revenge?" "Yes," I admitted. "Revenge. Survival. Transformation. Call it what you want." She studied me quietly, then nodded. "Then we'll build you into someone they won't even recognize. By the time they look up, you'll be untouchable." Her certainty steadied me. For once, I believed it too. Months turned into years of grind. I devoured knowledge, forged alliances, survived betrayals in boardrooms far colder than my brother's smirk. Every success was a blade in my hand, every failure another scar on my armor. When I collapsed from exhaustion, Elena would call. Get up. You're not done yet. And I would. Because quitting meant proving Isabella right. One evening, staring at the city skyline from Elena's office, I finally said it aloud, I don't even recognize myself anymore. She glanced at me, amused. Good. That means it's working. I touched the glass, watching my reflection blur with the lights. My jaw was sharper now, my eyes colder, my posture stronger. The man who walked into betrayal had died. What stood here was someone else entirely, reborn in exile, burning with fire. Years slipped by, though I barely noticed. Every night bled into morning, every morning into night again. My desk became my battlefield, contracts my weapons, and failure my enemy. Sign here, I told a hesitant partner one evening, sliding the paper across the table. He frowned. You drive a hard bargain. I leaned forward. I don't settle for less. Either we walk away together stronger, or you walk away weaker. A pause. Then the pen scratched the paper. Victory. I lived for moments like that, small conquests stacking into something bigger. My empire wasn't born in grand strokes, it was carved deal by deal, scar by scar. Elena often smirked at me. You're ruthless now. Almost makes me proud. Almost? I teased. She shrugged. You're still learning. And I kept learning. Failure knocked me down more than once, but each time, I rose faster, hungrier. Years into the grind, whispers began to circle. People spoke my name in boardrooms, in hushed tones, half respect and half fear. That was enough to keep me going. But success meant little when the nights grew too quiet. One evening, I sat alone in a quiet cafe, scrolling through projections, when a voice interrupted me. You work even while eating? I glanced up. A woman with soft eyes and an amused smile stood there, holding her cup. I don't eat, I admitted, pushing my untouched plate aside. Tragic, she said, sliding into the seat across from me without asking. Lena. I raised a brow. Do I know you? Not yet, she replied easily. But you look like a man who needs company more than food. I chuckled. Bold assumption. Am I wrong? I hesitated, then sighed. Not entirely. She sipped her coffee. So tell me, what's worth breaking yourself for? My company, I said simply. Everything I am is built on it. And what about who you are without it? Her question lingered longer than I wanted. Over time, Lena kept appearing, sometimes at networking events, sometimes at that same cafe. She had a way of disarming me with her quiet kindness. One night, she asked, why do you fight so hard? I stared at my drink. Because I was discarded. Because I was told I wasn't enough. And I'll make sure they choke on their mistake. She didn't flinch. So this is about revenge? Partly, I admitted. But also survival. If I stop, I'm nothing again. Her voice softened. You're not nothing. Even without all this. Her words shook me more than I expected. No one had said that before. Not Elena. Not even David. When I confided my exhaustion, Lena simply smiled. Then rest. The world won't collapse if you breathe. I can't, I muttered. You won't, she corrected. We grew closer, not through grand gestures, but through quiet moments, late-night talks, shared silences, her laughter cutting through my storm. She became the one voice that reminded me I was more than just my vengeance. But revenge still burned in me, steady and unrelenting. One evening, as we walked along the river, Lena slipped her hand into mine. You've built something incredible. Why keep looking backward? I stared at the water. Because Marcus and Isabella need to see. They need to know what they threw away. Her grip tightened. And when they do, Will you be free? I didn't answer. She stopped walking, turning to face me. Don't let them own your heart twice. Once was enough. Her words were gentle, but they pierced me deeper than any insult Marcus ever threw. Still, when I lay awake at night, success surrounding me, her warning couldn't silence the image of their faces. I wanted them to see me. To regret. To break. Because I had rebuilt myself from nothing. And when the time came, they would learn exactly what kind of man they betrayed. Rumors reached me long before I saw them again. Marcus wasn't the invincible king he pretended to be. Deals slipped, investors lost faith, and his name, once spoken with awe, was now whispered with doubt. Lena, I asked one evening over the phone, you've heard the talk, haven't you? She chuckled. Of course. Marcus built his house on sand. It was only a matter of time before the tide came in. And Isabella? I pressed. A pause. They say she looks tired. Not the goddess she once paraded around as. Stress will do that. I didn't respond. A strange satisfaction stirred in me, though I said nothing. Days later, Lena caught me staring at my phone too long. You've been listening again, haven't you? I put it down. It's unavoidable. Their downfall is everywhere. Her brow furrowed. Does it make you happy? It makes me aware, I admitted. Aware that fate has a cruel sense of balance. She sighed. Or maybe it's just life. You should focus on what you've built, not on their ruins. I wanted to agree. But part of me couldn't look away. Then the invitation arrived. A letter embossed with gold, heavy with prestige. A global business summit, hosted in my home city. I skimmed the details until my eyes caught on the list of keynote attendees. Marcus Duval. Isabella Moreau. My chest tightened, but a grin tugged at my lips. Fate wasn't subtle, it was theatrical. When I showed Lena, she stared at the letter. You're going? Of course. Her gaze searched me. To prove yourself, or to confront them? Both, I whispered. The flight home felt unreal. Years had passed since I last walked those streets, since I left behind the ashes of the man I once was. Now I returned different, forged in fire. The night before the summit, Lena called again. You're prepared? As much as I'll ever be. Then remember, she said, voice sharp, you're not the broken boy they knew. You don't need to scream your success, they'll see it the moment you walk in. I plan on letting the silence speak for me, I replied. The summit hall glittered with chandeliers, polished marble, and the hum of powerful voices. I adjusted my suit, feeling eyes follow me as I entered. Whispers rippled, my name carried weight here now. Then I saw them. Marcus stood by the bar, glass in hand, laughing too loudly at something no one else found funny. His tie was loose, his face puffier than I remembered, the sharpness dulled. Isabella stood a few steps away, her dress elegant but her smile brittle, forced. For a moment, I only watched. Years of rage, grief, and loss surged through me, yet I remained still. Is it really you? A voice broke my focus. An old colleague clasped my hand. They say you've built an empire abroad. I smiled faintly. Rumors have some truth. More hands shook mine, more voices praised, and I let it happen. Each word carried across the room, and I knew Marcus and Isabella heard every one. Finally, Marcus approached. Well, well. Look who crawled back. His tone was casual, but the twitch in his jaw betrayed him. Crawled? I echoed calmly. I flew in on my own jet. His smirk faltered. Isabella's eyes flickered, studying me, and for a second, I thought I saw regret. You've changed, she said softly. No, I replied. I simply stopped being who you thought I was. Marcus scoffed. Don't get cocky. One good streak doesn't make you untouchable. Neither does a fortune, I said, my gaze steady on his. Yours seems to be slipping. His nostrils flared. Careful. Why? I asked, leaning slightly closer. You'll abandon me again? His face reddened, but before he could respond, the host's voice boomed, announcing the keynote speakers. My name was first. I walked past them without another glance, stepping onto the stage. The spotlight hit, bright and hot, but I didn't flinch. Rows of faces watched me, some skeptical, some eager. I began, voice steady. Years ago, I lost everything. I was dismissed, discarded, forgotten. But what looked like an ending was only the beginning. From nothing, I built something greater than I ever imagined. And I stand here not as proof of luck, but as proof of perseverance. Applause echoed, rising until it filled the hall. I saw Marcus in the crowd, stiff, his jaw tight. Isabella sat beside him, her hands clasped too tightly in her lap, eyes fixed on me. I continued. Success isn't inherited. It's earned, fought for, clawed from the dirt when the world buries you. That is the empire I built. When I stepped down, the ovation followed me. I passed Marcus and Isabella again. Marcus refused to meet my eyes. Isabella, however, whispered just loud enough for me to hear. I made a mistake. I paused, only for a second, then walked on. Because now, it was my world. And they were only spectators. The summit hall pulsed with energy, laughter, glasses clinking, the low hum of money and power moving in real time. My shoes struck the marble floor with steady precision as I walked in. Conversation stuttered. Heads turned. For a moment, silence rippled like a wave, then whispers followed me. I caught sight of them instantly. Marcus. Isabella. Her hand froze around her glass, her smile stiffening like cracked porcelain. His eyes widened before narrowing, but I saw the flicker, fear, disbelief. I stopped just within their line of sight, letting the crowd's reaction carry across the room. God, I heard someone whisper behind me, he's even bigger than they said. Another voice, that's him, the one who built everything from nothing. I didn't need to announce myself. My presence did the work. Marcus broke first. He forced a laugh, loud and brittle. Well, look who decided to crawl back from exile. I tilted my head, answering softly, crawl. I don't remember private jets being that low to the ground. His smirk faltered. The group nearby chuckled under their breath. Isabella stepped forward, her tone syrupy sweet. It's been years. You look different. I let the pause hang, then replied, different. No. Just alive. Her smile twitched. You seem successful. Seem. I asked quietly. Is that doubt, or regret? Her eyes darted away. Marcus tried again, voice rising, don't think one flashy entrance makes you important here. I've built a reputation in this city. I leaned closer, my voice steady. And I've built one in the world. The crack in his mask widened. His laugh didn't reach his eyes. Then, there you are. A familiar voice boomed. David. He strode through the crowd, grinning, wrapping me in a firm embrace. You actually did it. You made it bigger than any of us imagined. I smirked. You doubted me? Never, he shot back. I just thought the world would take longer to notice. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Isabella's gaze flickered to David, then back to me. David turned to them, his smile sharpening. Marcus. Isabella. Long time. You two must be proud. Isabella tried to answer, but her voice cracked. Of course. We're proud. Marcus muttered, there's nothing to be proud of. He just got lucky. Luck? David barked a laugh. That's what you're calling sleepless nights, international deals, and a global empire? If that's luck, I'd like some. The crowd chuckled again. Marcus's jaw tightened. I raised a hand slightly. Easy, David. They're not worth the noise. He grinned. Fair. But you've earned the right to let the world know who the real man is here. I met Marcus's stare and said nothing. Silence has more weight than arguments ever could. The host approached then, clapping me on the shoulder. We've been waiting for you. Everyone here wants to hear your story. Marcus's eyes narrowed further, but he said nothing. Isabella glanced at me one last time, her lips parting as if to speak, but no words came. I walked past them, David at my side. Every step was deliberate, measured, heavy with the years they thought had broken me. You see that? David whispered, pride in his voice. They're crumbling just standing next to you. I exhaled slowly. I don't even need to touch them. My existence is enough. He nodded. Exactly. You're not their victim anymore. You're their ghost. The phrase lingered in me, sharp and perfect. Their ghost, the one they buried, dismissed, betrayed. But ghosts don't stay buried. When I reached the main table, a circle of executives and investors greeted me with handshakes and congratulations. An honor to have you here, one said. The legend himself, another added. Behind me, I felt Marcus's silence, Isabella's regret, heavy in the air. They were trapped, forced to watch, unable to escape what I had become. David leaned close again, murmuring, you know what the best part is? What? They thought they destroyed you. But here you are, untouchable. I smiled, lifting my glass. To ghosts. And I let the room's applause drown out whatever Marcus or Isabella tried to cling to. Because I wasn't here for revenge tonight. I was here to prove I'd already won. News travels fast when blood is in the water. Marcus's name filled every headline, scandals, investigations, investors cutting ties overnight. His empire, once paraded like a golden crown, rotted before the world's eyes. I watched in silence as the empire crumbled. My silence was the loudest answer of all. Whispers followed him everywhere. Fraud. Thief. A pretender. And Isabella, she still appeared beside him in front of cameras, chin lifted, smile painted on, but I knew. The light in her eyes was gone. The truth came late one night. My phone buzzed. The screen flashed her name. For a second, I considered ignoring it, but something inside me said, let her speak. I answered. Why are you calling me? Her voice trembled. Can we talk? Please. Just once. I paused. Where? Your office. Tonight. Against my better judgment, I agreed. When she walked in, I almost didn't recognize her. Her elegance was cracked, makeup smeared at the edges, exhaustion carved into her face. She clutched her bag like it was armor. Sit, I said coldly. She lowered herself onto the chair, fingers tightening on her bag strap. You've heard, haven't you? Everyone has. Her lips quivered. It's not how it looks. Marcus, he's not. I cut her off. He's exactly what he looks like. You're just seeing it now. Her eyes brimmed. I thought he was stronger than you. Smarter. He promised me everything. I leaned forward. And what did he give you? Her voice cracked. Lies. Fear. Nights filled with shouting. He's drowning, and he drags me with him. For a second, silence filled the room. I studied her, the woman who once looked down at me with contempt, now trembling before me. You're not here to warn me about him, I said slowly. You're here for something else. Her eyes locked on mine, desperate. I regret leaving you. The words hit me harder than I expected. Memories slammed into me, her laughter, her hand in mine, the warmth I used to live for. For a moment, something inside me softened. But then I remembered. That night. The knife in my back. Marcus's smirk. Her words, "You were never enough." I leaned back, cold steel in my voice. Regret doesn't erase betrayal. She flinched. I was wrong. I see that now. You've become everything I dreamed of, and he's nothing but a ruin. Please. Can we start again? I laughed, low and bitter. Start again? After you burned everything we had? After you chose him? Tears spilled down her cheeks. I thought I was choosing a better life. I didn't know he would. You didn't know. I snapped. Everyone warned me about him, but I defended him. I trusted him. I trusted you. And you proved them right. Her hands shook. I was blind. I see clearly now. You've become powerful, respected, everything I once mocked. I hate myself for what I did. I stood, walking to the window. The city lights glowed below, a reflection of everything I had built without her. You want me because he failed, I said quietly. Not because you love me. No, she cried, standing quickly. It's more than that. I miss you. I miss us. I turned, my eyes burning into hers. There is no us. You killed it. You made your choice the night you left me for him. She stepped closer, desperation spilling from her. Please, just give me one chance. One. I shook my head slowly. Do you remember what you said to me that night? Her lips trembled. She looked down. You told me I was never enough. My voice hardened. Now hear me clearly, you are not my safety net. Her tears fell freely now. So this is it. After everything, you'll just let me drown. You drowned me once, I whispered. I clawed my way back alone. Don't ask me to save you now. She staggered back like the word struck her chest. Silence stretched between us, broken only by her shaky breaths. Finally, she choked out, You've changed. Yes, I said, steady as stone. And thank God I did. She picked up her bag with trembling hands. I never thought I'd beg you for anything. But here I am, and you still won't take me back. Because I finally know my worth. Her eyes met mine one last time, broken, hollow, stripped of pride. She turned, walking out slowly, her heels echoing like a funeral march. When the door closed, I stood there in silence, my chest heavy. For a brief second, the ghost of who I once was whispered, what if you forgave her? But I silenced it. Forgiveness wasn't weakness, but letting her back into my life would be. I whispered to the empty room, you had your chance. Now you live with your choice. And I let the silence swallow her absence, stronger than I had ever been. The ballroom glittered with chandeliers and whispers of wealth. I walked in with Lena at my side, her arm linked through mine, her smile calm and radiant. Eyes followed us, admiration, envy, curiosity. At the far end of the room, I saw them. Marcus and Isabella. Their shine was gone. He looked heavier, older, his suit wrinkled, his jaw clenched with forced pride. She wore an expensive dress, but it hung on her like borrowed armor. Her eyes darted the moment they saw me. Lena leaned close. They've seen you. Let them, I murmured. We moved through the crowd, shaking hands, exchanging polite greetings. My name carried weight now, every conversation bent toward me. I didn't need to boast, my presence did it for me. Then it happened. A voice, loud and unsteady, cut through the music. You. Marcus staggered forward, drink in hand, eyes bloodshot. The room fell silent as people turned. He jabbed a finger at me. You ruined me. I didn't flinch. Marcus, put the glass down before you embarrass yourself further. He sneered. Don't act innocent. You think I don't know? You, spreading lies, pulling strings, turning everyone against me. Lena's hand tightened on mine, steadying me. I shook my head slowly. No, Marcus. You ruined yourself. Gasps rippled through the crowd. He barked a laugh, bitter and cracked. Easy to say when you're standing up there, pretending you're better than me. I raised my voice just enough to carry. Pretending? I built my empire from nothing. I worked while you drank. I studied while you schemed. I earned everything you squandered. Murmurs spread among the guests. Heads nodded. Marcus's face reddened. Lies. You sabotaged me. Enough, I cut him off. You lost investors because you lied. You lost partners because you cheated. You lost respect because you couldn't keep your greed in check. Tell me, Marcus, how is any of that my fault? He froze, lips twitching, no words coming. The silence was louder than any argument. I stepped closer, lowering my tone but keeping it sharp. You always wanted to be better than me. You took my wife, my family, everything you thought defined me. But look at you now. And look at me. His hand shook. He dropped the glass. It shattered on the marble floor. Isabella rushed forward, grabbing his arm. Marcus, stop. But he shook her off, stumbling back. His fall was complete, and everyone saw it. I turned to walk away, but Isabella's voice cracked behind me. Please, don't. I stopped. Slowly, I faced her. Her eyes shimmered with tears. You don't understand, she whispered. We've lost everything. He's not the man I thought he was. Her breath hitched. I have nothing left. The crowd leaned in, hungry for drama. I studied her, the same woman who once told me I was never enough. Now, in front of everyone, she was unraveling. She reached toward me, voice breaking. I was wrong. I see it now. You're everything I should have valued. I let the silence stretch, every pair of eyes on us. Then, with calm precision, I spoke the words I had carried like a wound. You were never enough. Her face crumpled as the words sliced through her. She broke down, sobbing, mascara running, her pride shattered for all to see. The music had stopped. No one spoke. Only her sobs filled the silence. I looked at Marcus, slumped and defeated, and then at Isabella, kneeling in her own ruin. There was no joy in me, no gloating. Only closure. Lena stepped closer, her hand warm against mine. It's done, she whispered. I nodded, my voice steady. Yes. It's done. We walked away together, leaving them in the wreckage of their own choices, the echoes of my words lingering in the gilded air. The night air was cooler outside the gala, sharp against my skin as I stepped into the quiet. The noise of the ballroom dulled behind me, fading like the past I had finally buried. Lena walked beside me, her hand brushing mine. Are you all right? I'm better than all right, I said softly. For the first time in years, I can breathe. She tilted her head, searching my eyes. It's over now, isn't it? It was over the moment I chose myself, I replied. A familiar voice came from the shadows. That's the truth. David stepped forward, his grin wide, his presence solid. I saw the way you handled it in there. Calm, sharp, ruthless when you needed to be. Proud of you, brother. I laughed under my breath. You caught the show. Caught every second. He slapped my shoulder. Marcus crumbling, Isabella breaking down, it was the ending they wrote for themselves. You didn't have to lift a finger. Still, I said quietly, there was a time when I thought I needed their downfall to feel whole again. And now? David asked. Now I see I never did, I told him. I already won the day I stopped letting their betrayal define me. David's eyes softened. Exactly. That's the victory no one can take from you. Lena slipped her hand into mine, her touch grounding. You don't owe them anything, she whispered. I nodded. No apologies. No explanations. Nothing. David chuckled. They wanted you buried, but here you are, standing taller than ever. That's enough. I closed my eyes for a moment, breathing deep. I used to imagine this moment 1,000 different ways. I thought I'd gloat, rub it in, make them feel the pain they gave me. But standing there, all I felt was empty. Not empty, Lena corrected gently. Free. Her words settled into me like a seed finally finding soil. Free. That's what this was. David smirked. So what now? You walk away into the sunset? Something like that, I said, smiling faintly. I've got no reason to look back. Lena squeezed my hand. Good. Because your life is here. With me. With everything you've built. I turned to her, letting the noise, the bitterness, the ashes of my past drift away. You're right. I don't need their approval. I don't need their downfall either. My life doesn't belong in the ruins they left behind. David exhaled, satisfaction in his voice. That's the man I wanted to see. Strong, steady, walking forward. We stood in silence for a moment, the three of us, the night sky vast above. For once, I didn't feel small beneath it. Lena leaned closer. Do you regret anything? I shook my head. Regret? No. Everything that happened led me here. If Marcus hadn't betrayed me, if Isabella hadn't left me, maybe I'd still be chasing ghosts, living someone else's dream. David grinned. And now? Now I have my own life, I said. My own empire. My own love. Lena smiled, her eyes bright. And no chains to the past. Exactly. I took a step forward, then another. I don't need to watch them burn. I don't need to sift through their ashes. I just need to walk past them. David's voice carried a note of pride. Then walk. We'll follow. The night stretched ahead, open and wide, a road without ghosts. I whispered to myself, barely louder than the wind, I'm free. Lena heard it anyway. She squeezed my hand tighter. Yes. You are. And with that, I kept walking, leaving the ruins behind me, never once looking back.